As the cultural characters fill the square, remember we still have the likes of the nut seller, the fruit and vegetable vendor, fancy basket lady, we have the shaggy bear, harbor police, Mother Sally, the Morby woman, the landship admiral, and the BDF drum corps in the Zouave uniform. We also have the stiltmen or the Mokajumbi in the Barbados colors. So the sweet sounds of Tuck Band, the sweet sound of Tuck, with the procession of the cultural characters.
Please be seated. May we bow our heads for prayer. Eternal and Most High God, Creator of this universe and all that is, we give you thanks and we give you praise for this privilege and opportunity to be here at the Golden Square Freedom Park. Father, and especially we want to remember those on whose shoulders we stand, those who have fought to create change in this nation. And we ask you for the strength that we, as those who are here, would adopt, oh God, that ability, Father, that we too will be change agents in this world to make this country, to make this region, to make this world a better place. We lift you up and we praise and bless your name. Amen. Amen. We shall read an ancestral liturgy, and at the end of every declaration, we would ask you to respond with Ashe, Ashe. Thank you. By the power of God, Africa gave birth to civilization, seeing the first human beings to walk on the earth. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. We were rulers of empires, pioneers of philosophy, biology, mathematics, architecture, religion, and music.
Our father's land, laden with riches, rulers, kings and queens, princesses, were invaded by ruthless men who dared to take us captive.
Across many waters of what is in fact the African Ocean, they brought our fathers and mothers like laden cattle to these shores.
Untold millions died during the awful ordeal of the Middle Passage.
Though millions died, through God's grace, many survived and landed on these shores.
Sold away, our parents, our brothers and sisters, some never to be reunited. True love and faith held on.
Sold for a price by wicked men, but bought by the price of King Jesus' blood, they held on.
Led by prayer, kept by a promise, and with the eyes on the prize, we are here.
Many people bound together by blood, by blackness, by brokenness. One race, many hues. One cross, many burdens. One song, many verses. One crown, many victories. One king, many mansions. I am because we are.
We are because I am.
God's blessing upon Golden Square, upon this ceremony, and all the activities in this space today and tomorrow. Amen. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Dame Sandra Mason, Governor General of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dale Marshall, Attorney General, the Honorable John King, Minister of Culture in the Prime Minister's Office, and other members of Cabinet, Ambassador David Commissiong, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Stuart Lane, CEO of the BTI, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, the official opening ceremony of Golden Square Freedom Park. To deliver the welcoming remarks, please welcome to the podium the Member of Parliament for the City of Bridgetown, the Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostick.
Your Excellency, Dame Sandra Mason, Governor General of Barbados, the Honorable Mayor Amor Motley, Prime Minister, Sir Patterson Cheltenham, Chief Justice of Barbados, members of Cabinet, members of Parliament, members of the Judiciary, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, persons who are viewing on television and social media, members of the press, and a very special welcome to my colleague and friend, Trevor Prescott, and to Ambassador Commission. Good evening. And I say a special mention to those two because through thick and thin, in good times and bad times, those two gentlemen and all of the others who work with them have really been at the forefront of keeping projects of this nature alive. So I salute them. I have the pleasure this evening in extending a very warm welcome to you to the beautiful and historic Bridgetown, and especially to the newly re-engineered Golden Square Freedom Park. I am more than delighted to be here as MP for the city, but also as a loyal citizen who just wanted to be part of this momentous occasion. There can be no doubt whatsoever regarding the importance of this space in our long journey to becoming a republic, and the role played by the national hero whose bust graced this park for several years now. Whilst the journey has been long and the road has been winding, I am sure that we would all agree that it was worth the time and the effort. Honorable Prime Minister, this new Freedom Park is one of the many visions that you have shared with your cabinet for the development of our fair land. You said to us on numerous occasions that this space held too much national significance to have been allowed to remain in the state that it was. You said that you would fix it on assuming office, and so, Prime Minister, you have delivered. I salute you. As I look at the aesthetically appealing space before me, which we can now proudly refer to as Golden Square Freedom Park, and as I look behind, along the Fairchild Street Road, and to see the developments that are taking place there, and of course, the culmination of the project started by Dame Billy Miller, which is to make the water course from the Carinage to the Globe Roundabout a place of beauty and a place of leisure. I am now beginning to see, as MP for the city of Bridgetown, the start of the redevelopment and social re-engineering of Bridgetown, which will ultimately lead to the rejuvenation of our beloved capital city. Your Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, Chief Justice, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincerest wish that this park will be treasured and enjoyed by all, and that you would also treasure the time that you will spend this afternoon witnessing this very important ceremony. So once again, on behalf of the good people of the city of Bridgetown, welcome and welcome to the Freedom Park. Thank you.
The welcome remarks were delivered by the Member of Parliament for the City of Bridgetown, the Honourable Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic. And now for the remarks from the Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commissiong, founder of the Clement Payne Movement.
President-elect Dame Sandra Mason, gives me so much pride to say that phrase. Honorable Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, His Lordship Chief Justice Sir Patterson Cheltenham, Ministers of Government, Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, visiting dignitaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, comrades all, good evening. I think it is incumbent on me to share with you a little of the backstory pertaining to this magnificent 2-acre Golden Square Freedom Park that we are officially opening this evening. It was in the year 1988, some 33 years ago, when I was 28 years of age. My colleagues and I established the Clement Payne Cultural Center at the junction of Reed Street and Baxter's Road in a building that historically belonged to the Right Excellent Charles Duncan O'Neill. And the reason for founding that institution was to establish a community-based people's development program, but also to, one, lift up and honor the names of Clement Payne and his heroic lieutenants. Secondly, to educate the Barbadian people about Clement Payne. Thirdly, to campaign for Clement Payne to be officially designated a national hero of Barbados. And fourthly, to establish Golden Square, the stomping ground of Clement Payne, the working class community in which he held his most important public meetings, to establish Golden Square as an acclaimed and respected national sacred space. And so we went to work we went about these tasks diligently and consistently by, among other things, establishing a host of community programs: supplementary school, liberation library, community computer classes, researching the history of Clement Payne, publishing a concise biography of Payne, printing 50,000 copies, and persuading the late Harold Hoyt to distribute them for us by putting them in the center of the Sunday Sun newspaper, putting up a plaque on the perimeter wall of the Bethel Methodist Church to mark and acknowledge the location and importance of Golden Square, commencing the holding of annual national commemorations of the 1937 People's Rebellion right here in this Golden Square, collaborating with the late Dr. Richie Haynes of the NDP to introduce and secure passage of a parliamentary resolution expunging the unjust criminal convictions that had been imposed by the colonial authorities on hundreds of Bajans in 1937, establishing the Israel Level Foundation under the leadership of Trevor Prescott as a sister organization, establishing an annual Clement Payne National Hero Award. And then, ladies and gentlemen, in the year 1997, entering into a collaboration with our country's young, dynamic, and visionary Minister of Education and Culture, one Mia Amor Motley, to develop the Golden Square sacred space into an important, nationally recognized commemorative facility, a freedom park, if you will. And so we set about working on the project, Minister Motley and the Clement Payne movement. We donated a bust of Clement Payne, a magnificent bust that had been sculpted for us by renowned Barbadian sculptor Arthur Edwards. We also collaborated on the monument to the martyrs of 1937, the monumental piece just next to the Clement Payne bust. And under the leadership of Minister Motley, a beautiful amphitheater was built, and she came up with the unique idea of utilizing the wall that demarcated Golden Square from the fire station to inscribe the surnames of all the families of Barbados. And so, our beautiful national Golden Square sacred space was established. Clement Payne was designated a national hero in 1998, and our government proceeded to use the Golden Square amphitheater for all types of commemorative events. And then, after a few years, came the inexplicable decision by government to relocate a number of market vendors to Golden Square to demolish the amphitheater and construct what we were told would be a temporary market facility. The Clement Payne movement was dismayed by this development. We know that Minister Motley was equally dismayed, but there was little or nothing we could do about it. After the market building was constructed, we were only left with a small portion of the original Golden Square, the portion that contains the Clement Payne bust and the monument to the martyrs. And so we in the Clement Payne movement kept faith with the original vision, and we consciously undertook the national responsibility of holding annual July 26 commemorative ceremonies in that small portion of Golden Square that had been left to us. Fast forward now to 2018. That 1997 Minister of Education and Culture becomes the Prime Minister of Barbados. We invite her to deliver the feature address at our July 26 commemorative ceremony in Golden Square in 2018. She does so, and she promises that the original vision of Golden Square will be resurrected, that the sick and dysfunctional old National Insurance building will be demolished, and that a magnificent Golden Square Freedom Park will be established. And the rest, as they say, is history. Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley is not only a woman of her word, but she is a woman of tremendous vision and judgment. And we thank God that she is the political leader of our country in these very difficult times. Yes, you can clap for that. Clap for that. Let me conclude by saying that this is a great day for me personally and for all the members and supporters of the Clement Payne movement who labored diligently over a period of 33 years. Permit me to publicly acknowledge and pay homage to the late Martin Cadogan, Glenroy Strawn, Eichel Tafari, Ricky Paris, Trevor Clark, and Ashton Gibson, also known as Kes Zacharias. They are surely here with us in spirit this evening. And I also wish to acknowledge those who are still very much here with us and still making their contributions to our national life. Robert Bobby Clark, our veteran. Thelma Gill Barnett, Umfra Wells, Edson Crawford, David Denny, Archurin Reese, John Howell, Buddy Laria, Cheryl Hunt, Charles Odell, Evadne Turney, Trevor Prescott, Edmund Douglas, Anderson Moore, Maggie Trotman, Joy Workman, Wingrove Braffitz, Ladipu Solanke, Anthony Mighty Gabby Carter, Richard Stout, Miss Aline, and then the Commichong clan, Michael Commichong, Sally Commichong, Aisha Commichong, and Najuma Commichong. And this is not an exhausted list, but I can't call every name. Please give them all a round of applause. Brothers and sisters, on the 21st of July, 1937, the Right Excellent Clement Payne delivered one of his most important public speeches right here in Golden Square. As per usual, police spies were in the crowd, and they made a written record of Payne's words. And here is how Clement Payne ended that historic speech 84 years ago. And I quote, "I am going to make this spot the mecca of organization in this island. Bad things have been said about Golden Square, but I have found my services better appreciated here than elsewhere in this island." End of quote. The challenge to us now is to play our part in helping to realize Clement Payne's vision by embracing this magnificent 2-acre Golden Square Freedom Park and making it the mecca of civic engagement, public education, participatory citizenship, conscious artistic expression, and progressive and even revolutionary consciousness in the new Republic of Barbados. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ambassador David Commichong. And now to give some insight to the concept and the fruition of what today is Golden Square Freedom Park, the representative of Talma Mills Studio, lead design consultant and landscape architect, Mr. Kevin Talma.
Salutations. Your Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, Governor General of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Moore Motley, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dale Marshall, Attorney General, the Honorable John King, Minister of Culture in the Prime Minister's Office, and other members of Cabinet, Ambassador David Commission, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Stuart Lane, CEO of the BTI, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank the Governor of Barbados through the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. for the opportunity the design team had to participate in this incredible project. When we first got engaged, the truth is this was the hurricane before Elsa, and it has remained so, and it has been energetic and fun. The design team that I'd like to recognize is Talma Mill Studios, landscape architecture, ACI International Engineers, EMCE Limited Engineers, Alyssa Moore Studios, Architectural Design, Design Collaborative, Quantity Surveyors, Kevin Farmer, Historical Context, and Dr. Janice Cumberbatch, who helped us out with social context. In a brief summary, the concept of the project started with this spine coming through the middle, where we connected from here, the Parliament buildings, through Hero Square, through the Careenage, Independence Square, up through the middle of the park to Clement Payne. And the little gesture of color in the blue was the idea of water and the Careenage and how our history was born and is going to be in the future tied to water and the ocean. On top of that kind of very simple gesture, we overlaid a series of geometries, of activities, of desires and wants that were expressed to us by stakeholders and ended up with this park. And it primarily is an idea of connecting to Clement Payne, providing recreation that's both passive and active. You'll notice the road tennis courts, our native sport. And on top of all of that, we added another element, which was not the word decoration. We want to imbue in the park a vibe, an energy, a character, and a true spirit. And we found that with local Barbadian artists. And when you visit the park, you will see that expressed on the walls, sculptural elements and gestures in the seating. And that was really the most exciting part of the project in terms of bringing that to life. And I'm hoping that the project will evolve further in that direction. And I've heard it repeated again. So I'm hoping that that is something we can continue with. And that's pretty much basically it. And it was an exercise that was challenging, but definitely fun. And I think the team enjoyed it. And if I have to make one last comment before I go, I know there'll be critics and people debate, the value of a space like this. But personally, I feel that developing quality urban spaces and protecting beaches and protecting the East Coast and preserving cultural landscapes in our agricultural belts is one of the major planks to ensure Barbados moves forward as a quality place to live, work, play, and invest and visit, etc., etc., etc. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
My name is Denise Menagvinij. I am an artist art consultant, and the project that we're going to talk to you about this afternoon is the Builders of Barbados. The Builders of Barbados has quite a history. You will see that each brick has two names on it. They are only the family names, okay? And we're not talking only about the contemporary persons. We are talking about 600 years of history in Barbados. I was co-coordinating the project with Lillian Nicholson, okay? And we did a lot of research, and we had the help of quite a number of historians, okay? And Dr. Carl Watson helped us a lot. Mr. Greenwich Maurice Greenwich gave us some names. Other people, like Mr. Goddard gave us some name. Murcott Wiltshire, that helped us as well. All this to tell you that it is important to say that this project has involved a fantastic number of persons. We're going to have a mural in the middle. And that mural, okay, is being done by Juliana Innes, okay? And it's going to be in clay. Let me introduce you to my assistant. Walter Bailey has been with me since the very beginning of the project 22 years ago. Hi, Walter. So we have been working together, and we never fought, and we get along very, very well. So we had a lot of very important artists who actually worked, in engraving the stones, that we have there. So we have people like Rodney Ifill, Arlette St. Hill, Lillian Nicholson, obviously, Mark Hill, Errol Brathwaite. You remember Errol, right? Joyce Daniel. 22 years ago, you were one of the regular. You never missed one day. You came there. So tell us a bit, about what happened and your experience, when we started that project.
And although we were having a lot of fun with it, we all really felt the importance of it. I mean, it's little pieces coming together to make something a lot larger, but you all felt the significance of what it could be, and now we could see it in all its grandeur. You could see how it's come together and how it works.
Hi, my name is Onika Small. I'm a visual artist, and my concept for the community mural wall in Golden Square was chosen. It's called Shards of Life, and it's the idea that the human spirit is resilient in terms of our emotions, in terms of joy, laughter, happiness, sorrow, regardless of the age that we're in. So I wanted to capture this aspect, as well as some of the different activities that happen within the area of Golden Square. I created line drawings of different people who I photographed as I walked through the community. So the shopkeeper, the barber, the vendor. Some people wanted me to take their photographs, some people didn't, but I had a good time interacting with the members of the community. Some of the actual images are people who work on the Golden Square site as well. So in my time here, I developed some images using some of the people. So Carla is one of the site engineers, and Justin is the young man at the gate. So I interacted and created from that. My main inspiration was the idea too with the wave in it, was that in life there are ups and downs, and we have to be able to get through these ups and downs, as well as be able to in some ways control our emotions to get through life, because every time you're going to have challenges, you're going to have joy, you're going to have sorrow, you're going to have pain. And that's what I wanted to look at in terms of what really binds a community together. It's not just the physical buildings, but there's the emotional and really human elements of it. So that's what was captured. We have a team that worked on this project, and that included Kenneth Blackman, Jason Hope, Doreen Edwards, myself, and then Andrew Sargent from Illusion Graphics. It's really a mixed media type of mural. We have incorporated coral render and cement, pieces of shards, different PVCs, different types of things. So it's really quite an interesting process for all of us.
Hi, my name is Juliana Innes, and with me this afternoon is Gayle Riley and Jamila Haynes, and absent is Shaquille Hewitt, and we are the makers of Vessels of Dreams and Aspirations, Pelting Bare Big Rocks. Vessels of Dreams and Aspirations, Pelting Bare Big Rocks is a three-piece ceramic installation depicting the riots, the 1937 rebellion that occurred in Barbados in Bridgetown. It is a completely ceramic installation constructed by hand with local materials, and it incorporates the textures of the island, aspects of the people who would have been looking for solutions from the then government or whatever to improve their economic, political, and social situations. The inspiration for the project came about thinking, what is it that Bajans would use as a weapon or have at hand when you get angry? And I thought, well, one of the first things my people would go for is a big rock. I know Gayle and Jamila had interesting experiences making the big rocks, and you can share what that experience was like.
Thanks, Juliana. My name is Gayle Riley. I was really happy to be asked by Juliana to work on this project. Building on this scale was wonderful, actually. Basically, it employed everything that we know about clay, and then because when you build on this scale, there's a lot more that comes into it. Yes, and there's something really wonderful about working with the material itself.
Okay, all of us played a part in constructing each of the big rocks. And Jamila, why don't you tell us a bit about what it was like for you?
So my name is Jamila Haynes. I'm actually an architect by profession, but a lover of all things clay and ceramic. I was really pleased when Juliana approached us as a group to ask us to be part of this project. And similarly to the comment that Gayle made, we're really not accustomed of seeing art in public spaces and having appreciation of art in public spaces. So I was really thrilled to be part of that process, is history of Barbados, actually making art where people can go and enjoy it. There were so many challenges, as they mentioned, in terms of building on a large scale, because clay is very sensitive and it remembers everything that you do. Coming out of that, we've learned so many things technically. I think the most fascinating part for me was actually when we fired one of the pieces. We fired it in a gas kiln, and the whole process of just making sure that the kiln is right, that it's going up at a steady temperature, and actually seeing the flame, go around this ceramic object, it was such a beautiful thing to watch. It's nice that Bridgetown is getting some love. It needs more love, not only in this manner, but maybe it'll be a catalyst for more things going forward to happen in Bridgetown, that we can actually go and enjoy our city. And this is putting on my architect hat in the background, because yes, we have buildings, yes, we have roads, yes, we have sidewalks and everything, but we really need places and spaces that we can enjoy. So for me, I'm happy to be part of a project which allows that to take place.
About being in Golden Square Freedom Park now after the process of working with the artwork?
I feel legendary.
You feel legendary? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, very much so. My name is Kwami Heinen. I actually am one of the artists that participated in the program.
Okay. And how do you feel about being involved in this?
Well, it is an honor to be involved in this because working with the opportunity to work with Oishi Busha and Rasta Ken, you get me, is something that a dream for any Caribbean artist, for more Barbadian artists. And then work with Heshimu and Daniel, also 2 young artists, right? It was also sharing ideas and getting different views. Like basically working with this material was something new to me.
Which material is this?
Wood, all the types of material you can look around and see. You got galvanized wheels, stuff you bought from antique shops, stuff you source. Right? It was a class.
My involvement was just like everybody else, one of the artists. For me personally, it was a pleasure to work with such awesome people, right, on a project. And getting the project, I never thought of the history part of it, but the possibility of working with artists like Rasa Ken, Rasa Ishi, Rasa Shimu, and Ras Kwami was the biggest thing to happen for me, right? To be in a space every day, sometimes the morning to the night to the next morning, working with some men just grueling, watching people in concentration, watching somebody make a bad move and undo it, correct it, make a better move. So for me, that was the real beauty of the project, the process, getting to the final destination, which is here and now.
I've worked with Aishi before. We worked on several major projects before, but this is the largest public project that we've been ever awarded, right? And we wanted to make it a seminal moment. Working with these youngsters was a really inspiring thing for me. Oh, and there's a member of the team that is not here presently, and we need to acknowledge him, our technical assistant, Shaq Hewitt, right? And it wasn't a linear narrative, really, right? Most of this material was found. You know, we had to source it by scavenging, right? We bought some, right? Some was fabricated, you know. We visited antique shops, right? You know, to get the paraphernalia that represented the period. You know, we just went through the underbelly of Barbados, right? We recontextualized them. We give them new relationships, right? And created new meanings and new possibilities in terms of the associations, right? And I was very, very much enamored, right, at what was achieved by especially these youngsters. I can't help but give them praises, right? And I think the honor should be theirs, right? Because we threw them in at the deep end, right? And they didn't let us down. But we have secured the process because we use very ancient Japanese techniques. There are buildings in Japan that are over 1,000 years old that utilize this technique, where you burn the wood and it makes it resilient and repulsive to insects and termites. But my concern is vandalism.
The nervousness and the tension that I had over the 3 months was a release when I actually saw the work. We never get a chance to see the work as a whole. We get to see the works and parts being built here, parts being built, you know, parts being assembled here, but to see the whole orchestration of the actual work was a great relief for me, because we had a dream and we developed the dream and we saw it come to reality, and that was a great thing. I hope that Barbados really appreciate what we had to offer in terms of creating this historic village, because we actually call it a village.
Hear my plea, oh Jah. Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears, oh Jah. Why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? Oh no. So many sons lost in the slaughter, blood running in the streets like water. A gun in hand knows no pain, no. Warmonger selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of we children. Can you tell me when will it end? How many more Jah must carry this load? How many more? How many more Jah? How many more? Before we trot down Zion Road. How many more? Sing why yo, why yo, why yo, why yo, why yo. How many more? How many more? How many more? How many more? Heavenly Father, won't you hear my plea? Send a helping hand for the country. In man, there's no solution. No. I'm begging for the children's future. Oh, Jah, drugs got them by the color. How can we stop this, my pollution? Too many starving and too many hungry. Too many. It seems like there's no hope. No hope. Too many big shots and too much connections. Too many loopholes in Babylon system. Oh, Jah, how can my children go? How many more Jah? How many more must carry this load? How many more? How many more Jah? Before we trot down Zion Road. How many more? How many more Jah? How many more must carry this load? Must carry this load. How many more? How many more Jah? Before we trot down Zion Road. Road. I need to know how many more, how many more, how many more Jah Jah. I need to know how many more, how many more. How many more? Won't you hear my plea? I'm down on bended knees. Oh Jah. How many more? How many more? I need to know. How many more? How many? I need to know. Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh no. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Craig Yearwood. I'm one of the 6 artists in the Golden Square Freedom Park Bench project.
Hi, my name is Catherine Kennedy. I'm also an artist in the Golden Square Freedom Park Bench project, and this is Ronald Williams, who is also participating in the project. This project was conceptualized by Barbadian visual artist Annalie Davis, and it is showcasing work by 6 emerging contemporary artists, including Craig, myself, Ronald, and Kia Redman, Akila Watts, and Joshua Clark.
My piece examines the cultural heritage, baggage of Barbados and possible futures, how we as a small island state are susceptible to cultural penetration and possible futures.
The context of the project was centered around the legacy left by Clement Payne's activism and giving these 6 emerging artists a platform to leave a voice in today's generation. For my own piece, my bench is focused on controlling the narrative, censorship, and giving a voice to everyone.
I am Art Edwards. I am a portrait sculptor. Francis and I are a team that we have an agenda, and that is through this medium, three-dimensional sculpture that is representational of the individual and would be expected to last forever. This represents the first example of a bronze casting in Barbados, something of this size, and we're hoping that it will not be the last. We were forced to cast here in Barbados because of the COVID situation. We would normally have sent it to Florida or Cuba, but now, because the shipping was difficult, we were forced to find a way to get it done ourselves. So we now have the ability to cast these items in Barbados. We have the equipment and stuff to get it done. And as I said, I hope that the process continues. This depiction is of the national hero, the Right Excellent Clement Payne. We did the original work in concrete, and that has now been replaced. This has not been installed, but it has been completed in bronze. Again, it's the first example of cast in bronze in Barbados, and we hope that it is not the last.
Wasn't born, but me grandma tell me but we had riots in this country. Great depression the people did face, so them riot and them burn down the place. Wasn't born, but me grandma tell me. She tell me, she tell me, she tell me, she tell me. But we had riots in this country. She said, Great Depression the people did face, so them riot and them burn down the place. Then we'll had riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island, land. The people and them say they can fight because today is a funny night. It was in 1937. 37, 7, 7, 37, 7, 7. Seems like the land was ruled by Satan. Cause innocent people, police shot in them head. But poor little children get kicked till them dead. Then we had riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island, the people and them say they can fight because today is a funny night. The reason them riots was wide and varied. They can't get enough food to feed them baby at all. Can't get a job if they beg on their knees. Can't get no medicine to cure the disease. Boy, then we had riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island. The people and them say they can fight because the day is a sunny night. The reason I tell ya the story is plain. I believe we're going to riot again. Again. If our leaders don't preach what is true and find work for young people to do, they'll be rioting tonight, I say, that we going to fight. They'll be rioting tonight, I say, that we going to fight. There'll be riots in this land, I want you to understand. There'll be riots in this land, I want you to wonder. There'll be riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island. The people and them say they can fight because today is a funny night. There'll be riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island. The people and them say they can fight because today is a funny night. Because that day is a funny night. Because that day is a funny
Good evening. Well, I was never told where I was born, but I was told Barbados. And if this government succeeds in deporting me wherever they may send me, these words will remain with all of you. Crying out for British justice for my people. Because Trinidad done organized. British Guyana done organized. Even St. Vincent organized. But what about the Bajans? What about the Barbados that boasted the Harsons College and the Commemorative School? What about you? Well, is it the disgrace to think that the middle class and aristocrats need organization, but them don't need it? It is the poor laborer, where if they get hurt on the job, they will get nothing. And that should tell all of you that you need old age pension, you need workman compensation, and you need compulsory educational lots. Well, labor organization is all over the world. So why should any cakey king or tin god come out here trying to play the fool? It is on you, Bajans, to knock on the door of your government. How long will you remain sleeping giants, ragged and starving, with no consideration given to you? Well, I thought the days of Uncle Tom's Negroes were dead. If not, I, Clement Osborne Payne, is a man of action. So let me start with the elementary schools. Tell them to stop teaching our black children about these great white men. Tell them, teach them about the black poets. Teach them about the black scientists. Teach them about the black philosophers. Our black children need to learn black literature. And you black women, you need to stand shoulder to shoulder with all the black men and assist them in building the character of our children. Otherwise, they will fall through the cracks in this whitewashing system. The only thing they will learn is an inferiority complex. Do you not see the third gangs and cricket gangs working for next to nothing? But these are all matters that we need to be addressing. Barbadians, if you want to eat 3 square meals a day, you need to become organized. If you want to demand better pay, you need to become organized. If we are going to affect any real social change, you need to become organized. So I will make this spot right here a mecca for organization in this island. And even if they drag me from about here, I want you to remember this phrase: educate, agitate, but do not violate. Educate, agitate, but do not violate. Educate, agitate, but do not violate.
It is with a sense of pride and great pleasure that I invite to the stage and to the microphone to address you at this time the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley.
Your Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, Governor General of Barbados and President-elect of Barbados. This is the last occasion upon which I shall address you publicly as Governor General. Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua, Sir Patterson Cheltenham, Chief Justice of Barbados, members of Cabinet, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, but above all else, Bajans. I was wondering, today is a joyous and emotional day for me. And I say so because this today represents one aspect of a journey, the pilgrimage of this country finding its way, of our people finding the space, and above all else, of the lessons of life that shall guide not those who have gone before, but those who must now come and face all that this world has to challenge it. I start this evening by giving thanks. Giving thanks not only to the Almighty, but giving thanks to all who played a part on this long journey. The journey started in 1937. And the journey started deliberately in the hands of those who understood that this country had good people, but it didn't have a good society. And the people wanted to be active citizens and to craft their own destiny to make that good society. Their living circumstances didn't differ much from what it was a century before, when emancipation was rolled out, really not for the slaves, but to appease the conscience of others. For if it were for those who were slaves, the living circumstances of their parents and grandparents and great-grandparents of those in 1937 would have been far, far, far different from what they had to endure. But this journey reminded us that history doesn't happen in a straight line, and that it very often it takes all kinds of efforts, including the acknowledgement of defeats, including the persistence to remain committed. And that lesson found itself not only in the actions of those who came and led the 1937 rebellion. It came also to be reflected in those who believed that that rebellion should never be cast in a light as if it was simply men breaking the law, and never be cast in a light as if it was to be forgotten by those who would come after. The resonance of the actions of those in 1937 can be found in those who found it necessary to start the process of enfranchisement, the political enfranchisement, the worker enfranchisement, the social and economic enfranchisement that would follow. And we saw the difficulty of the journey of those early patriots mirrored in the battle to make the current generation and future generations know of what transpired. Ambassador Commission told us today, and I thank him for that, of sharing the journey of how we have got here. His, Trevor Prescott, and many other members of the Pan-African community labored when no one would listen to them. Labored, trying to recreate for a modern Barbados that had so distanced itself from those memories, but they would not be daunted. I stand here today honored to pay tribute to them all. And I ask you to join me in paying tribute to them. But it wasn't only they who started to unlock it. It was the likes of Clement Payne's brother, who lived in St. Matthias, or Chesil Rock, who we know well, who reminded me up to last night that as a child she opened her window onto what was ultimately to become the fire station, knowing full well that here was Golden Square. But yet, as we moved around this nation, more than 95% of the people of Barbados did not know where Golden Square was, did not know what Golden Square was to them. And we asked ourselves, how can a nation build itself? How can a people forge themselves into being the finest that they can be if they do not appreciate the travails of those who went before, on whose shoulders they stand, and the sacrifices made to allow us to walk as free men and women, independent and proud. I therefore ask us today to recognize that the lessons of life and the lessons of the journey must live with us, recognizing that everything in life doesn't come easy, recognizing that there will be peaks and valleys, but recognizing above all else that active citizenship is required of each and every one of us. And it is for that reason that we speak not only now of rights, but of responsibilities. For as I have said and shall continue to say, on behalf of this government, no one owes us a living. And the price of winning your freedom, the price of winning your independence, is the duty that you must exhibit in nurturing, building, and maintaining this nation and its people. It is ours, and we have that responsibility. And the example of Golden Square Freedom Park in the center of our capital city is to remind us that forevermore we shall not forget the sacrifices made of life, of liberty, to allow us to be here and to allow us to enjoy all that we have enjoyed as an independent nation, but above all else, as a democracy. My friends, this journey must forever, therefore, continue. But the lessons of it must guide us. For if we were where we wanted to be, we would be in heaven. We have not yet reached there. As I reminded us in Laura Green on the 26th of July of this year, the journey is not yet over. But along the journey, just as we must take sustenance, we must find moments for reflection and moments for recommitment. And as we move to become a parliamentary republic after 396 years of British monarchical rule, it is important that we find those moments of reflection in these few days and in these new spaces. I ask us to recognize that the challenges may have changed, but they are as daunting as they ever were. The resilience required of us is no less than the resilience required of our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, and all of those, some of whose names you shall find on the wall of memory. And I ask that you allow this to inspire us. Yes, at one level, because in the words of the great Marcus Messiah Garvey, who visited us in October of 1937, just some 3 months after the 1937 rebellion, in the words of Marcus Messiah Garvey, we must learn to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, for none but ourselves can free our minds. That is a principle that we must nurture in each of our children, in each child. And over the last few weeks, it has given me great pleasure to see young kids meander and come in here and start to ask questions. And I hope that they shall be the ones who shall nurture and protect this space, recognizing that this is their platform, this is their legacy. and that this platform must be used by them to inspire them to even greater heights in the battle against the climate crisis, in the battle against this awful pandemic that does not want to leave us in any form, manner, or fashion, in the battle against the public health disease of violence, in the battle against inequity and unfairness and discrimination, in the development of the courage to have the difficult conversations that we must have as an adult nation, recognizing that our history has been mired with all kinds of complexities, reflecting from the worst in genocide and oppression and slavery to the greatest that have allowed us to produce people who have had global acclaim for their excellence in the form of the Right Excellence of Garfield Sobers and our own Robin Rihanna Fenty. We have seen it, all sides. But it is for us to have the nuanced conversations with our children and our people, because there is no simple black or white. There's a lot of gray. And we need to relate the gray to the values that will help inspire us to greater levels of production and greater levels of protection, not just at the level of the country, but at the level of our individuals, at the level of our children. And I trust and pray that each of us, as we come to accept the journey now for the new parliamentary republic, that we accept that we stand proudly on the shoulders of those who went before. And a narrative must include their works and their words. The narrative must continue to remember what Sir Grantley meant to being able to unlock what they were trying to do as far back as 1937, when he worked as counsel to the Right Excellent Clement Payne, or when he understood in 1950 that the introduction of the Universal Adult Suffrage Bill was the sine qua non, the platform upon which freedom would come. Because if men and women could not determine their future and who should represent them, then they could not protect or build, indeed, a democracy. And that is why he shall forevermore have the acclaim of being the father of our democracy. Or the Right Excellent Errol Walton Barrow, who made it very clear as this nation became a sovereign nation, taking formally the reins of independence, that we shall work with pride and industry and to do credit to our nation wherever we go, in our words, in our actions, in our deeds, I should say. And that we remember always, with fondness and commitment, his words, that we shall be friends of all and satellites of none. Unless those feel that that is applicable only to the international community, I ask us to remember that it is also a reflection of the kind of active citizenship that we want of our people. Buttressed, of course, by the very simple recognition, as he told President Lyndon Johnson, that if you cannot afford to pay the dues, you do not join the club. It was a lesson not just in fiscal prudence and values for countries, but it was a reminder of how we raise our children and what kind of citizens we want to have in this nation. Or indeed, that this journey reflected on the same road the work of the late Tom Adams, who understood that if we didn't change the relationship of our citizens to the democracy by allowing them to become owners in their own land, by passing what I regard as the most revolutionary piece of social legislation outside of Cuba in the Americas, the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act, empowering tens of thousands of Barbadians to own land in this country. Or the absolute audacity of an Owen Arthur, who took on the world when they came to him as a young prime minister and asked him to sign the shipwright agreement, and he said, "Massa dey done." But he too recognized that with victory came responsibility. And I still remember the night when he gave of himself that most brilliant speech as to why Barbadians must not settle for the bronze, must not settle for the silver, but must go for the gold. We recall the journey equally of David John Howard Thompson, who insisted from his own circulation in this country that we must premise our development policy also on sustaining the family as the unit, because without securing the family, we have no allies in nation building, in raising our children, and in forging a stronger future for our nation. My friends, we come to Golden Square Freedom Park as a proud people, conscious that those who went before labored to bring us here, but committed more than ever to go through the highways and the byways of this nation, from St. Lucie to St. Philip, from St. James to St. John, across every village, across every nook and cranny, to help uplift what is possible for the people of this nation. Some ask, why now? Why a republic in the middle of a pandemic? Why the opening of this in the middle of a pandemic? Because it is important that the lessons of life that have continued to exhibit themselves from this moment of the 1937 rebellions continue. And how must they continue? That regardless of the obstacles and the challenges that face us, we shall remain focused on achieving what we must achieve as one of the smallest nations of this world, but as one of the proudest and most capable nations of the global community. Yes, Bajans can walk and chew. And we must forever be able to walk and chew. Because life doesn't stop. Times don't wait on us. And it is against that backdrop, Jeffrey Bostick, Member of Parliament of the City of Bridgetown, that I want to pay homage to you, not just for the obvious work that you have carried for this country in the last 22 months in the fighting of the pandemic, but as the Member of Parliament for the City of Bridgetown. You referred to some of the work started by Dame Billy, and I salute her tonight from this stage too, because she also was at the center of this journey to start Golden Square many years ago. The work that is being completed in the Constitution River will bring honor to us all and will allow us to continue to see that area beautified and small boats go almost up past Queen's Park and come right back down. But it isn't only that we've started. When this ceremony is finished, cast your eyes on the more than 100 stalls built by this government for the workers and vendors of Fairchild Street who for years were not seen nor heard. And this government determined that if it is one thing we must do is that we must see and hear people. We must care. And that is why I remain resolute that the things that we can do even in the middle of an IMF program must be centered around building up and uplifting our people and giving them the best possible chance even when things get hard. The project is not yet finished, and I thank those who are working on it. For when we finish there, we go straight down to the Constitution River Terminal. The work in Temple Yard started and will be completed. And were it not for COVID, we would be much further ahead. Or in Passage Road, Jeffrey, and the corner of Baxter's Road. Or indeed, with respect to Queen's Park, which must become the center of cultural activity and creativity for our people in this country, young, middle-aged, or old, regardless of who or where they come from. We have already announced that the National Cultural Foundation must relocate from St. James and find itself in the center of town so that it can open up fully the opportunities for all of our young people who need to know that there is spaces and places where they can be the best that they can be. And with the work that we've seen started to be created in this park with the emerging artists, that they too must be given that chance. At the same time, we have before us approvals or different stages of development running from across the road, where I anticipate that early in the new year the Hyatt Hotel will start. Or further down, where I anticipate on the Pier Head that that project will also start. And the other works that are already out to tender for the Treasury building, which we believe must be that place where young Barbadians and not so young Barbadians can take to living in the center of town so that we can bring back life to Bridgetown fully across all classes and all places. I anticipate that the Urban Transformation Fund, which we are establishing and taking funds from all who are receiving planning approvals for major projects in Bridgetown, there must be a concomitant contribution to the Urban Transformation Fund, because Jeffrey Bostic, I heard you before you became a member of this government and before we won the government, when you asked and remained resolute that whatever development we do publicly and commercially in Bridgetown must be anchored for the people and residents of the city of Bridgetown at all times. That is why we will continue to work in Murphy Pasture. And we will continue to work to ensure that those who live literally in the shadow of the Bridgetown sewage treatment plant should not have to have the indignity of not even being connected to the very thing that they live next to. We must see people, we must hear people, and we must care about people. My friends, that is not the end. Were it not for COVID, we might as easily have had a larger crowd today, and we would have done two things one time this evening. But Trevor Prescott and Wilfred Abrams, it shall be done. The renaming of the bus stand after Archbishop Granville Williams, for whom the Spiritual Baptists and him paid much, much a heavy price for operating and having to worship their God in the shadows of that facility. I have every confidence, my friends, that when you start to walk around this park this evening, that like me, tears will come to your eyes quietly. This is a proud moment for me, and I pray that it shall equally be a proud moment for each and every Barbadian. For it is a lesson that things don't happen overnight, but if you remain focused, and if you remain committed, and if you are anchored with the right values, you can make them happen. I ask you to help me salute all of those who were on that journey as far back as 1998 when we put up the Coral Stone statue there in tribute to those persons whose lives had passed. Not just to Clement Payne, but to those who had also passed. I want to salute Denise Maynard Greenwich, Juliana Innes, Ras Aishi and Ras Akiem, and all that they have, persons that they brought together. I thank the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. and Stuart Lane and Mr. De Silva for taking all the pressure of making sure that we could get this done on time. I thank all of the persons who Mr. Talma referred to as working on this project. I thank the National Cultural Foundation for allowing us to continue to make sure that the interpretation of this public space was not simply about buildings, but it has a meaning spiritually to remind us of who we are. That wall of memory carries the names of everyone who has lived in this country that we can find, and that it has in it a central piece for those whose last names we shall never know. Is a reminder that we wish to pay tribute not just to those who came post-1625, but those who occupied these lands long before the British or the Spanish or any other European colonizer visited. That we know little of them is a tragedy. That we must continue to build our knowledge is a necessity. And I ask us all to remember that this journey of building a nation is not achieved in a few years or a few decades, but is a continuum. And as we go on that continuum, it is important that we remember the words of our own Kamau Brathwaite, who so I wish could have been here with us, who I had hoped when we opened this park would have been here, as he was when we installed our national heroes, to be able to share his words. And while he is not here physically, his words find themselves in two prominent places in this park, on the wall of memory and on the big rocks that are too heavy for any of us to pelt. And it is appropriate that I use those words now, because it is not enough to be pause, to be whole, to be void, to be silent, to be semicolon, to be semi-colony. In those words, Kamau recognized that just going part of the distance to freedom, part of the distance to independence, was not enough. I am grateful that the children of independence agree with Kamau Brathwaite. And I ask us to remember, as much as some may think that it is inappropriate for a prime minister to say and speak in these words, that the same things that matter in a democracy matter whether we stand as opposition or government. And what is that? That the power of the people will always be greater than the people in power. But that power must never be diminished by the minority voices that may be loud, but must be reflective of the majority, but with a commitment always to protect the minority. The responsibility of victory and freedom is not only that we have rights and responsibilities, but it is also that we remain committed to protect those who can least protect themselves, even if previously they may have done so from a different vantage point. Victory and freedom carry with it responsibilities that are not always easy. And let us also remember, therefore, that as we walk this journey, we must not mirror the travesties and the tyranny of those who went before simply because we enjoy the privilege of power and victory. Let us remember that conversation and dialogue is appropriate, but that for small states, the capacity to govern is equally critical, and that we must not ever believe that standing in time without taking decisions for fear of either unpopularity or otherwise will ever reap for us the success and the progress our people need. We have too many battles to fight as a nation and as a people. And we must talk with each other, we must engage each other, but we must always decide and move forward. We will not always get it right, but we must always remain committed to those principles that will guide us. And when we falter, we must get back up and move again, just as our children have learned to do. I ask us tonight to remember the words of Clement Payne. Yes, we must forever educate. Yes, we must forever agitate. But let us not violate, because the loss of life or the loss of liberty are prices too dear to pay, especially if we can work together as one people. And I end recognizing that this evening is not simply about us. As we forge forward to be able to build that future for our children, we ask them always, do not ever forget those who went before. And in tribute to those who went before, I ask us to bow our heads and to pay tribute now to Nathaniel Brown, to Frank Springer, to Sinclair Gittins, to Adina Rock, to Elsie Lane, to Ralph Hamlin, to Hendrik Lowe, to Adolphus Vaughan, to Aubrey Eversley, to Lyle Haynes, to DeCosta O'Neill, to Dalrymple Cadell, to Joshua Howard, and to Harry Gibson. May their families know that their sacrifice of their lives has been respected and is now being honored by a grateful nation and a grateful people. For it has not escaped us that without their courage and those others that were deprived of liberty and those who were deported like Clement Payne, we would not now be standing or enjoying the benefits and understanding what it is to forge successfully the nation of Barbados in the way in which we have done. I thank you all, and I ask simply the people of this nation to respect and to honor not just the physical aspects of this park, but the monumental contribution made by those who gave of their life and of their liberty. As we look around, let us enjoy the beauty. As we move, let us bring our children here to learn. And as we build, let us remember that this too will be a living piece of art and space for those working, living, reflecting, playing in Bridgetown. And let us remember always that this is a community. From London Bourne to Pondside to Nelson Street to Spruce Street to Wellington Street, it is a community of residents and Bajans. And let us make sure that that community can live in harmony with this wonderful public space. May we bless this park, and may it always remind us of the importance of seeing people, hearing people, and caring about people. God bless our fair land. Thank you.
It is at this time that there will be the unveiling of the commemorative plaque to mark this auspicious occasion. For the unveiling of the plaque, the party shall comprise Prime Minister of Barbados, the Right Honorable Mia Amor Motley, Member of Parliament for the city, the Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostick, Minister with responsibility for culture and youth development, the Honorable John King, Barbados' Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commissiong, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., Mr. Stuart Lane. We also recognize the presence at the unveiling of Mr. Trevor Prescott. This day has come for the actions of a man born in Trinidad of Barbadian parents, a man who on that fateful occasion in 1937 had a meeting here at Golden Square to explain the situation as it unfolded. That man would later lead a march to Government House and the next morning to plead his case to the governor. Indeed, some 500 supporters marched with him to Government House, and it was there that they witnessed his arrest. He was to be deported from Barbados. He'd remained in police custody, and he intended upon appealing against the expulsion order. On that night, there were riots in Bridgetown, riots across the land, and in 4 days, 14 people died, their names mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister. 47 were injured, and 500 arrested. We continue to pay tribute.
Start.
Hello, hello, and a grand welcome. It's good to see you in the audience. So hearty good night to one and all, from the big shot in McGuffey to you who think you small. This is a journey I will take you on back down 1937. Let me see who I am. It is only right. I am simply a full standpipe. First, let me say, I belong here. I stand up here every day, piping water for everybody Yes, me, a monument to history. Everything I hear and I see, the whole of Bristol does gather by me from early morning till late at night to have a bath, catch water, or sometimes to fight. So it is buckets of gossip, wash pans full of blues, chicken board hunger, cause opportunities were few, sun soaked in suffering, bubbles of blame, catfish and pepper just can't take the strain. Life in Barbados was not sweet. Sucking salt was the tune of the week. Like the men, boy the men, foundry men too. Maids, grooms, the cane cutting crew. Back breaking sweat with too much of it. And through the hornpipe every day. Break down whole houses, squeeze up tight. Garbage a common thing in your eyesight, wherever you go. Patsy do she do, you know are meant to see, and babies dying from deficiency. They rough, things they tough. What little you had wasn't nearly enough. So people will always be under despite trying the best to beat off the bright. But the water said moment when things are really brown. Clement Pink to Braystone. Say he washing mental rebellion and turned everything upside down. The man was a bar stalker, he wasn't a clown. He caused the crown to look down with the frown. Lord with character and charisma too. He double workers right and what the workers do. He wasn't by himself, he moved with a crew. Lovell and Chase, that's the name too. They keep thinking meetings far and near, but the hard-hitting ones would happen right here. In this square, Golden Square. It is here in Golden Square, Clement Payne would say, no way, not out here. You make it real clear, never show fear, and soon one day you'll see a better way. The man had art, the man had craft. Sometimes he would make you laugh at yourself, cause nothing ain't wrong. The ease in your heart, ready to speak south. The crowd starts small and it swell. Every man that agree, we living in hell. We want proper heaven too. People will yell, they love the talk that Clement will sell. He sprinkled advice for the people good. Then he spoke it and he sprayed, it was a flood. People sip and swallow, the tent made guts. Start to shout, we want some blood. He cautioned them saying, don't violate. Educate yourself and you agitate. If people agree to listen to follow advice and you might feel free. Because 100 years since slavery done and it don't really feel as if freedom come. But you know how the is in a hit or a miss. Some in the crowd didn't agree with this, so among the throng, government spies would frown. Copying down every word sound, so they could go and report to the crown. But what happened next, you just couldn't guess. The police put the man under arrest, charged him with some sort of stupid. But the lawyer, Granny Adams, stand up to the test, getting out of the unfair mess. Early one morning, Clement just couldn't wait. He marched across straight to the governor gate to warn the man it wasn't too late to treat the people more first rate. The crowd shout loud, come and talk to me. In 100 years, we supposed to be free. The governor peep out and see what he see. Then he sit on the morning tea. He said to his wife, listen, missy, that man fit me and his company. Marching up here where he did. Imagine that I come and talk to he's a bloody upstart. He smart. He can soon see the part that I got a hard heart. And he make it real plain. Arrest you again, because he live into his name and causing them a major pain. Then the crown meeting chamberlain devise a plan. The best thing to do, deport the man. Get he as far from here as they can so he can't pollute them sweet island. So they move real quick and put he on a ship looking to give the people the slip. Now the whole Caribbean the boiling up bad. People are tired of the life that they had. An explosion coming. You can see the clues. The island was dynamite, climate was refused. And they put you on the board, keep you out of sight. The people on the wharf say that ain't right. The rumble start to roar, vexation get ripe. Anger spill over like a bird's pipe. It gusts through the street, ready for a fight. Lick up, break up, a fire burning bright. Then a man run the shop and he said this, don't be frightened, miss. All I want is a kiss. The woman that trembled. Then she started moaning, she looked wrong twice. The man they'd gone. Back in the crowd fighting for his right. Cause though it was a day, it was a funny night. The fight spread, blood get shed. Sorry in the end, 14 people died. Sacrificial lambs for their daily bread, trying their best to get ahead. Cause the police won't come with them long gun. The start was to shoot some people down. We gotta hold them up and martyr them. We have to hold them up and martyr them. When the news get back to old England, in come Morning Commission, who probed and proved these are the facts. People low down, Thomas on their back. The advice they give, ease up the slack or the next clap back could be a deadly attack. Quick in the jiffy, things ease up. They finally wake up, that people fed up. An important change, you must take note. For the first time, people could vote, bet houses and the garbage clear. They were also aware to share health care. Next to come, legalize unions. The cream on the top, education. The change for standpipe, as you should know. You creep and you crawl and so you that grow. Creep and you crawl and so you that grow. So this place where we walk and we stand and sit. It named Golden Square. Don't forget it. Make sure to keep it near to your heart. The spark we get up or start. Keep it rolling. Don't skylark. So join with me now and say hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray for Golden Square. Wait. What you just say? Because I ain't really here. Again. Hip hip hooray for Golden Square.
Attention. Roll. Come on, get your line straight. Into the school. Head up. Mates. Mates. Nurses. Captain. Policeman. Junior officer. Junior officer. Sailors, move out. Forward. Sailors, come on. Sailors, wine go low, down. Come on, take it down. And up. Take it around. Take it around, put your back in it. At this junior officer, yes, take it around. Take it around. Attend. Move out. Ancient school. Sailors. These seas are getting choppy. Sailors. These seas are getting. Sailors. These seas are control. Sailors. Come on.
with the drummer now. Hold on to your conscience. Let them know that you're seeking deliverance. Roll to the rhythm now. Let the bass set the peace with the drummer now. Hold on to your conscience. Let them know that you're seeking deliverance from the depths of a major oppression. Your people suffered acute evasion. Now you're rolling your drums to be crucial. To step forward to claim the original. You descend from kings and queens. You went through the horror scenes, but God made your backbone strong to show them the right from wrong. You descend from kings and queens. You went through the horror scenes, but God made your backbone strong. He said to teach the children the right from wrong. So rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. Rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. Roll to the rhythm now. Let the bass set the peace with the drummer now. Roll on to your conscience. Let them know that you're seeking deliverance. Roll to the rhythm now. Let the bass set the peace with the drummer on. Hold your personality. Show them how you conquered the calamity. Yes, you suffered temporary setbacks. All the lashes they gave, yes, you took that. Now the tide is turning in your favor. You return to the top of the ladder. You descend from kings and queens. You went through the horror scenes, but God made your backbone strong to show them the right from wrong. You conquered the ridicule. You come in forward to rule, 'cause God made your backbone strong. He said to teach the children right from wrong. Rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. Rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. They still want to keep Nelson hanging on tight to England. Now we go in republic. They're fighting hard against us, but nothing can change our focus. Never again. Victory is a must. We stand in our flame. So rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. Rise up, you African children. Victory is certain. Victory is more than certain. Roll to the rhythm now. Let the bass set the peace with the drummer now. Hold on to your conscience. Let them know that you're seeking deliverance. Roll to the rhythm now. Let the bass set the peace with the drummer on. Hold your personality. Show them how you conquered the calamity. Yes, you suffered temporary setbacks. All the lashes they gave, yes, you took that. Now the tide is turning in your favor. You return to the top of the ladder. It is time to free your minds. We have now pulled back the blinds. Open up your eyes and see that God paved the way for we. Come on, let the church bells ring. Come on, let the children sing. All these songs of thanks and praise. We're moving on now to brighter days. So rise up, you African children. you this place exciting. Up in a bed, we vibes in. Now put down your worries and enjoy. Yeah, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let out the best you will I mean. Make sure you can handle it, come on. Somebody put the cool in the trunk. Hey, it's 1:30. We need to reach in the bed and get on before the jamming. And no time to linger. Y'all push out your bumper. We party until the last liquor drop. We heading straight to the jam because we ain't. Hey, I tell you this place exciting. Up in a bed, see we vibes in. Now put down your worries and enjoy. Hey, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let's out the bed, see we like. Make sure you can handle it. After the bed in the morning, walk over, relax on the sand. We got the sweetest waters, invite a friend, or stick them down. Find a corner, rock the bumper. We party until the last liquor drop. We heading straight to the jam because we ain't. Hey, I tell you this place exciting. Up in a bed, see we vibes in. Now put down your worries and enjoy. Hey, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let's out the bed, see we line in. Make sure you can handle it, come on, come on.
When the tourists back it up, everyone in the place them coulda walk it up. When them hear it tune, never couple up. No confusion, never kill up a vibes yet. We keep with yourself. Any session where we day, we got nice it up. Music always bumping, God this is for me.
What?
Come to the paradise.
I tell you this place exciting. Up in a bed, see we vibes in. Now put down your worries and enjoy. Hey, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let's have the best see we like me. Make sure you're good. Watch me. Somebody put the cooler in the trunk. Hey, it's 1:30. We need to reach in the vent and get on before the jamming. Then no time to linger. Y'all push out your bumper. We party until the last liquor drop. We heading straight to the jam because we ain't. Hey, I tell you this place exciting. Up in a bed, see we vibes in. Now put down your worries and enjoy. Hey, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let's have the bed, see we like me. Make sure you could handle it, come on, come on. Put your hand in the air, come on. This is a joyous occasion. Barbados is. Hey, get ready for the non-stop whining. Let's have the bed, see we like me. Tell him why. Barbados is paradise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Go, Jefferson, go.
installation. The tour party will comprise the Governor General of Barbados, Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Right Honourable Mia Amor Motley, Member of Parliament for the city, the Honourable Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, Minister with responsibility for culture and youth development, the Honourable John King, Barbados' Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comachiong, the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., Mr. Stuart Lane. At this time, we'd like to commend the wonderful efforts of the National Cultural Foundation in pulling this event together, with particular mention to the festival and events planner who is in charge of this evening's production, Miss Stacia Bryan. Congratulations to the team. Mention must be made also of Mr. Dorsey Boss, the technical director, and the entire crew, which has made this evening possible. And once again, we'd like to acknowledge the fine work of all the artists who contributed. As you walk the compound, you'll be able to look upon the work of the Builders of Barbados Wall, which was coordinated by Denise Maynard Greenwich, the Community Wall, Shards of Life, Onika Small. Also mentioned the work of Gayle Riley, Jamila Haynes, Shaquille Hewitt, and Juliana Innes for the section called Vessels of Dreams and Aspirations, Pelton Bear Big Rocks. Ras Aishi Butcher and the team, Joshua Clark, Catherine Kennedy, Keir Redmond, Ronald Williams, Akila Watts, Craig Yearwood, and Lee Davis in their depiction of the events of 1937 through the art of the 1937 Memorial Wall Park benches. And last, but by no means least, the coveted job of creating the bust of the Right Excellent Clement Osborne Payne. That work must be attributed to the artist, Mr. Arthur Edwards. You've been a wonderful audience this evening, witnessing history continuing to unfold 84 years after the riots which spread across the land in 1937. It has been my honor to be your master of ceremonies this evening. I'm Wayne Cool Simmons.
Praying for the forefathers, I'm praying for the ancestors. They have no face to